It's been a little minute since I've gone live on YouTube. So anyways, what's going on? Hopefully everybody's having a good day, running some errands. And I had this rant on my mind. I love to rant about things. Let me slow down. Nothing but straight up love. I don't have any hate towards. My bad. Was having a connectivity issue, but this is about the Pop the Balloons Challenge family, and it's interesting. I've been watching them for the past couple of weeks. Whether you like them or hate them, it's relevant. I'm not saying anything bad about the Pop Balloons Challenge. I think it's actually very entertaining. Sometimes it's like I listen to it while I'm in the gym. It's usually when I'm actively doing something. I like to listen to something entertaining, and when I'm sitting stagnated and whatnot, I like to listen to something more educational. But to me, the Pop the Balloons Challenge is pretty cool because one, it's entertaining. Two, it's a little bit informative, and then three, I think it's a great thing because a lot of people end up, promoting their businesses. I thought that was a puppy as a cat. Promoting their businesses. Get it, especially in today's world, because you live in a world, especially with the younger generation, where they guys are not too big on trying to approach women because they could be shamed, they could get locked up. It could be, I always say, it could become a Cuba Gooding Jr. situation where they end up in handcuffs just because they for, what do they call it, excessive touching or inappropriate touching or things of that nature, or inappropriate comments and things of that nature. Or I always like to call it the Jonathan Majors moment, where you end up running away 5 to 7 blocks in New York City with cameras everywhere capturing the moment of you running away from your significant other. So shout out to Jonathan Majors. He made the right decision with getting with Lauren, I believe that's her name. Even though she's older than him, sometimes you got to get with a man has to get with somebody who's more mature than he is in order to find the right one. Because we live in such a crazy culture in America nowadays, to where getting in the wrong relationship and marriage can really screw your life over with, and it's not even funny. It's not a joke. And this is for men and women. This isn't a gender war, none of that nonsense. This is some real stuff. So that's why I actually like the Pop Balloon Challenge, because in a sense, these people haven't gone on a date yet, but they're not spending any money. They're having an adult, I like to, for the most part, call it an adult conversation about what their expectations are in life and where they are in life all at the same time. So they can, because my mindset is, by the time you get to the age of 30, 35, you get tired of the mind games, and you want to be able to have I like calling an adult, mature conversation to say, hey, this is what I'm about, this is what you're about. Are we a match? That's the whole thing. If you're not a match, you pop the balloon. If the physical's not there in the beginning, they immediately pop the balloons. A lot of people go off of not only just the physical, but what they're specifically wearing. They pop the balloons. And hey, whether you call it petty for whether the smallest or the biggest reasons, that's irrelevant. If they're not feeling the person, they're not feeling it. And I think that's cool, because unfortunately, people are not. The main reason why I like the Pop the Balloon Challenge is because it's like, let's be realistic. A lot of people in the last 20, 30 years have had kids with people they don't want. They knew that they didn't end up marrying. They knew that they were going to be, if they're even lucky, good co-parents, but not actually, get married and have a relationship and things of that nature. They knew that wasn't going to happen. That wasn't going to be aesthetically fit and whatnot. Come on, man, hurry up. Sorry, I'm driving, yo. They knew that wasn't going to be, happen from an aesthetic perspective, because now the light wants to change. Yeah, they knew that wasn't going to happen from an aesthetic perspective, because they knew that, because I've seen females be in love with a guy, and men be in love with a woman, and they were together, and everything's fine. But then once they had a child, one person's like, okay, well, it's time to level up. And the man or the woman's like, you know what, this person is not really the fit for me. Case in point, 50 Cent with his ex-woman from his first child. After reading his book, he was talking about how he tried to help his child's mother level up. I won't say baby mama, but he tried to help. I'll say today, y'all. The slowest U-turn I've ever seen in my life. But anyways, yeah, he's like, he wanted his child's mother to level up, and he even was trying to set her up to level up in the real estate business. She said she wanted to be in real estate, and he was going to help her get rental properties, help, send her to school so she can get a real estate license. And she just didn't want to do it. She talked about it, but she talked a good game, but she didn't want to do it. And he knew by that time that he couldn't make her do that. And he was starting, 50 Cent said it, I'm quoting his book. He literally said, and that's how good of a book it is, because I'm literally quoting it. Because I read books all the time, but I rarely quote a good book. I rarely read a good book that's worth quoting. But anyways, 50 Cent said that he knew at that time between the G Unit folks and his child's mother, he's like, you outgrow people and you want them to come with you, but you can't make somebody into something that they want to be. They have to want it for themselves. And I'm like, that's the realest thing ever, you know. So a lot of times people end up having kids with the wrong people. And it's not the child's fault, so I'm not knocking the kids. I'm just saying having kids with the wrong people, meaning that you knew that this person wasn't going to be a good wife or a good husband, but you always have a connection with them because you have children. So, and the beautiful thing that I love about the Pop the Balloon series is that it literally goes into like, hey, I have, like, you'll hear a person say I have kids, and they're like, oh nope. A lot of guys and women will be like, yeah, I don't date people with kids. I would like, some people are older, so they're like, yeah, I've been there and done that. And then some people's like, yeah, I'd like to start a family, but I would like to do that with somebody without anybody else's. I'm not really trying to raise anybody else's child but myself, but my own. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I get that and I respect that. It's like, you know, once again, the best thing about the Pop the Balloons challenges, and there's so many of them out there nowadays because it's become so popular. Got some people that like them, some people that hate them. It is what it is. But I will say that the awesome thing about the Pop the Balloons challenge, in my personal opinion, is just that people are getting a lot of the things out of the way in regards to, hey, this is what I'm about, this is what you're about. Are we a match? Because we've gotten to know each other a little bit, not fully, but we've gotten the deal breakers in a sense out of the way. Like that, I love when they say, well, what's your deal breakers? And they mention that. And a lot of times people be like, yeah, that's definitely me, so it's not going to work. You know, like the one, I think my favorite person, there's two, I don't remember their names. There's one light-skinned brother from Louisiana. Shout out to Louisiana. This one light-skinned brother, he's a airline mechanic, so you know he works on airplanes. So God bless him. That's some hard work. And but he, you know, he does that for a living, and he stands on who he is. Whether people like him or not is irrelevant. This man they say stand on business. This man stands on what he's about and his principles, and I have to respect that. You know, he'll call people to follow. He'll call women out, and whether they like it or not, he'll argue with them. Yeah, I wouldn't do all that, but it makes me laugh. This one other brother, and I think this other one, he's from St. Louis. Shout out to St. Louis, because I think that's my favorite Pop the Balloons challenge right there, the St. Louis people. This other brother from St. Louis, he just straight up with it. He's like, yeah, we ain't gonna work, so I'm gonna pop this balloon. He talks so much trash, and he has me in tears. He's so entertaining. Like, if he's not a comedian, he needs to be one on the side just for the heck of it, because he has me in tears. But that's really it. I just got to say, I got nothing but love and respect for the Pop the Balloons challenge, because to me, it's like the beautiful thing about social media is that people should have these conversations. They should definitely have these conversations before so I'm burning up, before they even think about going on a serious date. Because a lot of times people ask questions, what if you're going to take them on a date, what's your idea of a good date? Because my mindset is never take a female that you just met on a very expensive date. She has to earn that. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean she's not worthy of it, but she needs to earn that. Take it to a simple spot. If it's not coffee, then keep it like a simple spot, like I don't care. Make it cheesecake. I remember that whole fake fiasco last year. Cheesecake, Applebee's, mom and pop restaurant, something to that effect. Start off on that level. That's my personal opinion, and leave it at that. Let them earn the fancy restaurant, because especially as overpriced as everything is to eat out nowadays. So. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, man, it's like everybody, the fact that people just, they live in the la la land, and especially when you first get in a relationship, it's la la land in the beginning, and then the reality of it, comes to fruition later on down the road. So that's the beautiful thing about the Pop the Balloon Challenge. A lot of the questions, the good thing is most of the people are a little bit older. For the most part, people over the age of 25, so they're a little bit more seasoned in regards to, hey, this is what I want, this is what I'm about, I done been there and done that, this is not who I am. It cuts a lot of the fakeness out, because a lot of people want to put on this fake persona of who they are in the world, and I think that's where people end up getting in trouble. And once again, because you have I see it on TikTok all the time, you have such a big culture of people complaining, specifically females, shout out to the females, not saying all, some but not all, complaining about the fact that men will not approach them in public, they will only talk to them online. I'm like, and I always say it to the young ladies, and I look, but we're in 2025 going to 2026, so I'm gonna say since 2010, it's become very normal for people to meet. Okay, so this is over 10 years now. It has become absolutely normal for people to meet on the internet. It's more normal for people to meet on the internet than it is for people to meet in person. I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it till the day I die. It is way more normal for people to meet, you know, via the internet than it is for people to meet in person. I always say, when I'm in public, when anybody comes up to me, I'm like the CIA. Everybody's guilty till proven innocent. I'm like, what are you doing? What do you want? You know, I'm like, thinking, are you trying to rob me or something, scam me or some nonsense like that? Because that's that's a man or a woman. So I remember one time I was at the gas station. I was coming back from a comedy show. It was like 12 o'clock in the morning. And I see like 4 homeless people in front of me. So I'm watching them. And then this one woman comes up to me like The Walking Dead, and I'm out of nowhere smiling, looking like she was on crack or something. I'm like, get the hell away from me! I literally said those words. I'm like, what? I'm like, you probably wanted some money, but I'm like, no, we don't do that. So, anyways, that's what it is. I think the Pop the Balloons challenge is cool, and shout out to the people that are actually going on there, doing 2 things: promoting their business, social media, and actually trying to find true love and whatnot. Because in today's world, it's such a dog-eat-dog world, and the only good thing I like about today's world is people are more, how do I put it, outspoken with who they are and what they're about, and I respect that. I think you need more and more people to be outspoken and what they're, truly about, so there's just less mind games. It's such a fake world, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to all the Pop the Balloon people. I'm about to get to my destination, but shout out to all y'all Pop the Balloon people with your social media shows, and you guys are doing amazing things, and it's fun. People are finding true love. People are entertaining people. People are putting their business out there. So I think it's awesome. I ain't got nothing bad to say about it. So, I'm keeping it positive on this one. I know some people think it's stupid and whatever the case may be, and that's fine. I'm not knocking what you like or what you don't like. It's your life. Do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Life's too short, family. It's your life. Do what you got to do. Because either way, I'm going to do my best to smile for a while. You know what I'm saying? So anyways. On that note, family, hopefully you guys do the 3 things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves, or get libre like fools. In Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life.